YouTube, Lenny Sly, roadwarriortraining.com. Welcome to the Road Warrior channel. Today is part 2 of Aikido past, present, and future. If you watched the last video, we did it on the Aikikai style of Kaitennage. This video is going to be done using the TenShin Aikido variations of Kaitennage. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. This is different. There's not a lot of throwing technique with this. It's more of submission type holds, taking people down on the ground, so it's controlling techniques. That's what this really is with our version of Kaitennage. We do have throwing aspects to where you roll or break fall out of it, but this video is going to be more focused on arm control, taking control of somebody's center, basically taking them down, submitting them to the ground, having them locked up, instead of the actual throw. This is a much more practical application as far as I'm concerned when it's in relation to the way how the traditional guys do it, the Aikikai guys do it, the Wama style guys do it. I find this a lot more applicable in the real world because you might not have a lot of space to be able to pull off one of these Kaitennage throws or Kaitennage takedowns. You know, the traditional stuff, you know, I understand there's principles involved and everything else that goes hand in hand with that. But if you end up throwing something in Kaitennage from the traditional side, usually you're looking for having some space to be able to do that. This stuff would work really well in confined areas. You know, if you were caught up in an alley or you were close to your car, getting in your car, somebody comes up behind you, shoves you, you turn around, somebody throws a strike. How are you going to pull a Kaitennage technique off of that? A lot of these techniques, almost all of these techniques incorporate, you know, the ABCs of evasions. You know, your ukanagashi, suriage, sotogiri, kiriage movements. Thank you. So it's like, they all incorporate those. So we're going to show you some of those techniques. We're going to give you some insight to way how we do TenShin Aikido Kaitennage. So I have Bob here today. Hi. Onegaishimasu. So to touch base really quickly, just show you some basic understanding of this. So from a shomanuchi aspect, you're going to use your suriage hand deflection. So as that comes in, you're going to deflect, and then this takes center. Okay? So one more time. So as he cuts, boom, it takes center. Now your Kaitennage, you're probably wondering, how would that work? One more time. So from here, you cut. This hand comes down, circles down, up and over. You're going to cut the elbow at this point. It's not shoulder. He can easily combat that really quickly. Go ahead. And he raises me up into this elbow lock at this point. Okay? So basically, once you do this, you want this action of cutting the elbow. So you're going to cut the elbow straight down. That is one of our versions of Kaitennage. That is the lock. That is the controlling aspect of Kaitennage within TenShin Aikido. So different application, well, same application, but different attack. Now for Mikowski, you're going to use the same hand deflection. Okay? If you did kiriage into suriage, this is going to be really hard to do this. So you want to simplify it. You know, I said in, I think, 2 videos ago, work smart, not hard. So with the same hand deflection of this, boom, you're going to cut this right away and take them right down to the ground. And then obviously pin in your traditional or TenShin Aikido pin. For the sake of this video, Bob's wrist is kind of messed up, so I can't really apply this pin 100% because I got to be careful with his wrist. Then you're going to basically drop his arm down, lock this in, and then you're going to turn, cover, and move. Okay? So one more time from that. So from Mikowski, you're going to cut straight down to the ground. You just lock him in place from there. Then you move. Okay? So one more, same side. So cut right here. Remember, it's not over the shoulder. The idea is cutting the elbow. You're trying to control the arm. Not so much the shoulder joint, but the elbow joint. So if we just show that from here, this, once you have this cut, you're not cutting this way, you're cutting into your center. That's how you're going to down your opponent rather quickly. If you start doing this, he can turn his back and escape from that. So you want to try to avoid that. So the idea is cutting the elbow and bring him in. I've seen other people do this. So from here, they get to this point and they get this lock and they grab their hand to lock this in. This would be good for the combative concepts version, which is part 3 that we'll show you in the next video. For Tenshin Aikido, we don't incorporate a second hand. From here to here, we might help this into this position, but we don't lock our hands up. We don't do that. We want to be able to cut them down to the ground right away and get them into that pen, lock them through so you can walk away. Okay, so that's Kausuke Kaitennage. Next technique, Katate Dori into Nikyo into Kaitennage. Now something I want to point out with this, a lot of people have this misunderstanding of Katate Dori techniques. You know, obviously it was used, you know, sword play or whatever, you know, battlefield application. You know, the samurai would have swords. This is where the wrist lock techniques would come into place. You're trying to stop the other samurai from drawing a sword. That's where Kosadori, Murote Dori, Katate Dori, those come into play. Okay? Take this into consideration. As he's going to attack, extend your hand out. Okay? This obviously is an Aikido demonstration of Kaitennage. So, being in this position all the time is fine. Traditional people do this. You know, then you see different movement from there. Tenshin Aikido people tend to do this. This is what we do. Look at it from this perspective. So as he's coming to attack, offer this hand, which forces him to go for that. Okay? So one more time. So as he does that, cut the hand. You're going to tenkan. At this point, this hand is going to move right into Nikyo right away. Now this is not so much the application, the full application of boom and down. This is the shock value. Wham! Then you go right into Kaitennage at this point. Cut the elbow just like I described in the last technique. Make your application of your arm pin him out, and step away. So you're not so much looking at the aspect of the Nikyo application of locking in the Nikyo and downing the opponent. If you do that, then there's no point in doing Kaitennage. If you apply the Nikyo, wham, and he's down, there's no point to take the next step into the technique. Once this is applied, you don't have to do that. So you can cut out the Kaitennage if you had to. Say you have a bigger guy. Bob's a little bit bigger than I am. Say he's even bigger. Say he's 6'5". I'm 5'9". This shock value of this technique might not get him to the ground, but it might be enough to where I drop him down to my level to where then I can cut the Kaitennage and bury his face in the concrete and then have him pinned out. So those are some things that you want to consider when you're looking at this particular technique. Okay? So from Katate Dori, cut, shock value of Nikyo, pull, cut right into that. Get into that position of that throw, lock him out, and then move. Okay? The other thing too is, want to minimize how big the circles are. So one more time, here, you want to minimize this. So you don't want to do that, and then that. You want to minimize this movement to there, and then move right into this, right away. Always have good posture when you're doing this. You don't want to get too sloppy with this to where it's that, and then here, and then it's, damn it. You know, so you want to have good posture. Lower your body by bending your knees. Probably some of you heard that from your sensei. We heard it 1,000 times from Kevin Cho sensei. Bend your knees, bend your knees, bend your knees. A lot of times you couldn't even tell when sensei was bending his knees. Even Angulo sensei. Angulo sensei and Matsuoka sensei, they're constantly bending their knees. That's why you always see Matsuoka blousing his hakama. He's moving up his hakama so he doesn't step on his hakama. My opinion, it's almost kind of like giving somebody the cue too. Look, I'm bending. You don't want to be that straight up guy because then your balance can be taken from you. So the idea is, if you're 5'9", you want to be 5'7". If you're 6'1", you want to be 5'11". Okay? So again, one more time. So what? Shock value, Kaitennage. Then you have that pin, and you move up. Okay? So One more time, slow. So from here, cut, capture, Nikyo, Kaitennage, pin, move away. Okay. The next one that we're going to do is a combination. It's going to be Magiri. Okay, so it's going to be a front kick, Kauski punch. So from here, your deflection followed up with a punch to the face, Kauski. Now it's Ukanagashi. Then from there, it's Sotogiri or Kiriage, probably more of the Kiriage. So as that comes in, you're going to cut this right into Kaitennage, and you're going to tenkan right into this position, pin him out at that point, and then move away. The big thing that you want to watch out for, if you're not an online member with my TenShin Aikido platform, now's the time to sign up for that. Because I go into detail on how the kick deflections work. I go into an extensive amount of detail with Ukanagashi, Suriage, Sotogiri, you know, things like that. You want to understand how these movements are. The Ukanagashi movement, if you do it wrong, you're going to get hit. If you do the deflection of the kick wrong, you're doing that, your forearm's going to get busted. There's a plane here, so as that happens, this application happens. You're always protecting your face too. It's not, I got it, boom! So you always want to be able to protect this. So as that happens, 1, 2, right into play. You always have to be ready. You know, as Taka Sensei says, you don't know how long the battle is going to be. You always have to be ready. So when this comes off, nice and easy, one, you got to be prepared for the Ukanagashi right away into the Kaitennage. You're not going to have a lot of time to make decisions when that happens. It's going to happen fast. And with our style of Aikido, if you don't move, you get hit. The punch doesn't stop here. The punch doesn't stop here. The yokomen doesn't stop there. We follow through with punches. Now, we're not being reckless, but we have to show proper intent. Otherwise, you're not getting the full spectrum of the technique. You're never going to be under duress. You're never going to learn how to be explosive. You know, people don't tell you, here comes the right jab. You ready? Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Here it is. No, it just happens. So you have to be ready. With this particular technique, be careful when you're training this that the kick is a boom, because the other guy might not be ready at that point. Some of you guys, this might be new for you, so you want to walk through this. In the online classes, I believe we have a series of these videos of kick punch deflection, kick punch defenses, within the online classes, so you can see several different Aikido technique on that type of attacking platform. We're defending against a kick, defending against a punch at the same time. Okay, so one more time. So, okay, the last one that we're going to show you, this one's fun. You don't see this too often. This is Ryo Katadori Kaitennage. Okay, I actually don't even know how this is done through the Aikikai style. Funny, isn't it? I've been doing Aikido for 27 years. And when I think about it, it's like, how does it? It's usually you don't see Kaitennage off of Katadori. So off of Ryo Katadori, okay, so as he comes in, how do you get this into Kaitennage? Because once they grab you, this ain't gonna work. So you have to stop this before this happens, okay? So as he comes in, cut right away, and you have that pin. Okay? So, from a little bit different of an angle, as he comes in with this, you're not doing this. Doesn't work that way. One hand goes down, one hand goes up, depending on which side you're doing it on. If you're doing it left side, so right hand's gonna go down, left hand's gonna go up, you're gonna cut the elbow and apply. If you're doing it, depending on how he's standing and attacking, if he's coming at me this way, I'm not gonna go left hand high, right hand low, because that's his forward leg. Because if I mess up, I'm getting a groin shot. So I'm gonna go in this position, I'm gonna go right hand high, left hand low, and I'm gonna attack this and take him down. This has to be done quickly. If you're being really passive and walking through, just walk nice through, you can do it this way, nice and easy. Okay, but you want to get to the point of, if you watch how Bob attacks, just go right to the attack. That's it, right from there. See how he grabs? You see that? Look how fast look at the distance he covers. One more time. See? That's quick. Okay? So you have to move quick on that. And you have to get him in that position fast. You're not going to have a lot of time. You can't be lollygagging around going, what am I going to do? This happens fast. It happens really fast. On the attacker's end of this is common. Somebody coming up and grabbing you. Don't do technique. Somebody coming up and grabbing you. That's common, especially in the bar scenario. I would know. Somebody coming and shoving you, even like a mune dori, a mune ski, this is common. So this technique works phenomenally with that type of attack. That's why this is a much more practical application than what you'd see with the Aikikai. So one more time. No. Cut. Down right away. Pin. And you're absorbing too. You notice how I start tenkanning through this. So as he comes at me from here, I'm absorbing with this. I don't want to be in the way of this Mack truck. I want to get out of the way of this. So I don't want to do this. And he keeps coming. Oh shit. You know, now I'm being picked up and being slammed. So you have to make sure that this happens. You're moving. So you're tenkanning. And you're not breaking connection either. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Because that's not going to work. Okay, you guys want to see it one more time? So you're not breaking connection. You see how I broke connection? Doing this. That's breaking connection. You want to cut and move at the same time. It's a little bit different. Okay? I was over-exaggerating the movement of this. But when it's done fast, you want to be able to cut this quick, cut, and take down. So one more time. Right away. He's down, you pin, you lock up, and you move. So we'll demonstrate this one last time, and then we're going to call it quits. So, height, fast. So that's TenShin Aikido, Kaitennage. Okay? So, hopefully this has been a really informative video for you. We actually had a lot of fun doing this. Bob, height. Thank you guys for watching. Part 3 will be coming up. That will be the combative concepts version of this. That video is when we're going to start showing a lot of striking, other things that you can do with similar application. But that's where we're going to start showing strikes, eye gouges. No hair pulling because Bob and I don't have any hair. But we can show you choking applications of that as well, getting into that. We're also going to show single leg takedowns. So you MMA guys out there, maybe you guys can benefit from this. We can show you how this technique actually works off that. And it actually works pretty effectively too. So, like, subscribe, share. Again, go to our website, www.roadwarriorstraining.com. Sign up for our online classes. You know, we have the TenShin Aikido platform, the Combative Concepts platform, the CQB platform. All those are continued education, so we add videos of those every month. Sorry, I'm kind of at a little loss here. Facebook, check us out on Facebook, Road Warriors Combative Concepts. My public image page, Road Warrior Lenny Sly. Our Instagram at Road Warriors, I believe Road Warriors TC. Same thing with our Twitter account. So that's pretty much about it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great day. Hey.